And it is Get Up, and that's Harry, that's Dan Graziano, Courtney Cronin, I'm Greeny. Let's do this. Dan, you were at Cowboys camp. They've got maybe the most significant situation of this entire preseason working with their star offensive guard, Zack Martin. What is the latest?
I think the Cowboys are going to hold firm. I don't get the sense that they're really eager to do an extension with Zack Martin. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He turns 33 in November. So he turns 35 in the first year of an extension if they give him one. There's not a lot of evidence to support the idea of someone playing at that high a level in their mid to late 30s at that position. I think they're going to play hardball with Zack Martin.
How would you describe, Harry, the significance of this holdout? It felt like, oh, well, they'll get it worked out. I remember we had this conversation 3 weeks ago. Well, here we are 3 weeks later. They haven't, and both sides seem dug in. If this thing continues to bleed, if you will, how big a deal is it?
It's a huge deal. When you look at the opponents that the Dallas Cowboys played within their first 7 to 8 games of the year, you talk about elite defensive lines. You talk about Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Kayvon Thibodeau. You talk about Javon Hargrave with the San Francisco 49ers, Quinnen Williams and company with the Jets. There are multiple teams that they play in which their defensive line is a key piece to their team's success. So when I look at it in those regards, Zack Martin has to be on that football field, because if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm going to match my best player up with the weakest link. And the weakest link is going to be whoever's backing up Zack Martin.
Yeah, or in that case, playing in place of Zack Martin.
Yep.
I hear what you're saying. Cronin, what do you think?
I think that this is a situation that Jerry Jones doesn't want to play around with. This is supposed to be a team that is pushing the San Francisco 49ers, pushing the Philadelphia Eagles as the best in the NFC. Why would you toy around with a couple $1 million here or there? Go the Trey Hendrickson route that the Cincinnati Bengals did. I know that he's not headed into the same lame duck year with his contract in 2024, but you can split the difference. You can make him the highest paid interior offensive lineman. We know how difficult it is for quarterbacks to step up in the pocket when that interior pressure is coming through the line. And we've seen this happen before. Jerry Jones finally caving to Ezekiel Elliott after about 38 days, that Mexico stint back in 2019, and it happened also in the 90s with Emmitt Smith. So hopefully, for their sake, they're able to get it worked out. I know Dak Prescott would want him there.
Well, Emmitt Smith, to me, is the template for this. I know we're going a ways back here, but back in the day, and this was before the salary cap structure was what it is today, Emmitt held out 2 games into the season where they were the defending Super Bowl champs. The Cowboys struggled. Jerry caved. Back came Emmitt. They won the Super Bowl. That suggests that if Zack Martin's going to get what he wants, he may have to take this holdout into the season.
He may, and if that's the case, then they're at risk of, Harry pointed out that the opponents they face in September, that puts them at risk of not being at their best in a situation where they're chasing the defending NFC champions in their division. So, look, as of now, they seem to be of the position, we already made him the highest paid guard in the league one time. He is now heading into his mid-30s, right? Emmitt Smith was still at the very, very top and not close to the end when they did that. And same thing with Ezekiel Elliott a couple of years ago. So I think it's a little bit different situation. They're trying to get something done with C.D. Lamb and a couple of other deals they have to do. At this point, I'd be surprised if anything happens.
Well, no, we understand. They're going to have to pay C.D. Lamb a bunch of money. They're going to have to pay Micah Parsons all the money in the world plus $10. But they need to get this done. One way or another, they can't do any of the things they want to do this year without Zack Martin.
Well, the thing to me is that it can derail your season if you're the Dallas Cowboys from an offensive standpoint. You talk about a guy in Dak Prescott who needs his protection, and you want him to cut down on the interceptions. Well, you know what helps that out? Having the star offensive lineman, the best player on offense there to make sure he's not getting sacked or pressures in his face so he doesn't throw those interceptions. Also, if you want that run game to be valuable, I think Zack Martin is a big part of that as well, Greeny.
I think I have the solution to this, CC. Tell me what you think of it.
I know where you're going here.
They play the Jets week 2. I think they need to bring Zack Martin in leading into week 3. That's what I think. I think they need to see Quinnen Williams, as you described, destroy that interior offensive line in week 2. It's the Emmitt Smith model all over again. And then after the Jets defense dominates and Dak is sacked, 11 times, and they have then they bring Zack Martin in. What do you think of the plan?
Well, what about if your Jets entertain the offer and they call down to Jerry World and say, hey, if you don't want Zack Martin, we're willing to trade for him. We know that Aaron Rodgers took this $35 million pay cut. See, I've made it. I've made you very happy this
Yes.
morning. Don't you like this idea?
Yes.
If the Jets need offensive line help, if the Cowboys aren't willing to pay Zack Martin, if they don't want to go down that path because they say they have to save all the money in the world for Micah Parsons,
Yeah.
you don't think the Jets, you don't think some other teams with interior
No, I don't want to hear about
offensive
the
line
other
issues?
teams.
Let's
talk
talk about your
Jets.
team. Make the call. If
Yes,
Joe Douglas,
I like
make
this
the
better.
call.
Okay, this is better. Let's Graziano, make this happen. The Jets, instead of what's Zack Martin to the Jets, does it make sense?
Well, it makes sense if the Cowboys really don't want to extend him and he doesn't want to play for them anymore. I don't know that we've reached that point, but 4 weeks till the start of the season.
How do we reach that point? Harry, get me to that point.
Here's the thing. I think Jerry would ask for king's ransom for a guy like Zack Martin. Zack Martin is the best at his position, so I just don't think he's going to let him go for not cheap.
What do the Jets have left to
For
trade?
cheap.
They sent everything for Aaron Rodgers.
No, not everything. We swapped picks. You're not trading a first-round pick for a 33-year-old offensive lineman. They give these guys away for nothing.
So important the Cowboys should pay him.
Trade him a third-round pick, Zack Martin to the Jets. Make it happen. I hope Jerry is watching. That is the solution to everybody's problem. And don't forget, you can watch us every single morning. It's Get Up weekdays on ESPN between 8 and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can stay tuned here for more exclusive Get Up content on YouTube as well.